Hi, I'm Crystal Stump, founder and CEO of ABC Consulting and former Virginia ABC Special Agent from the Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority. Today we're going to talk about underage buyers. Pour yourself a drink, you're going to need it. Welcome back, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you find this video informative and educational, please hit the like button. And if you think this topic is important, hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so that you're up to date with all of the new alcohol license types, different regulations, compliance, training, everything to do with the Virginia alcohol licensee community. I'm here to help you learn. Knowledge is power, and I want you and your business to be as successful as possible. So please subscribe, and thank you for watching. So let's talk about the underage buyer, the program and how that program works through the ABC Authority. If you are in the restaurant industry or if you have an alcohol license, you are going to be tested by the ABC Enforcement Division at least once a year, possibly twice a year, and even more if someone files complaints on your business. You're going to be tested to see if you sell to an underage person, okay? So let me back up before we get to that, and let me explain that the ABC Enforcement Division has a group of special agents who are sworn state police officers. They wear plain clothes, they carry a badge, they carry a gun, they have arrest authority, they are police. A lot of people don't realize that. But they're tasked with enforcing the ABC code of Virginia, the alcohol code. So it's important that you realize that these agents are going to be enforcing the rules, making sure you're operating in a compliant manner. And one of the tasks that they are going to be doing is conducting a test on your location. And any location in the state of Virginia that sells alcohol is going to be tested. So you're not really being targeted or singled out. It does happen to everybody. So you need to know right now that it's going to happen to your location as far as being tested. So train your staff and tell your team this is going to be happening. Make them watch this video so that they're aware that this test is going to happen. And they need to know how the test works, because if they know how it works, it might save your business and their criminal record. Save them a criminal record and your business a civil penalty or administrative charges. So the underage buyer program, or the UAB program, encompasses the enforcement division, the agents, and also someone who is actually under the age of 21. This person who is under the age of 21 could be male or female. They are normally even under the age of 20. They're 18, 19 years old normally, and they carry a valid Virginia driver's license that says their true age, which is under 21. That's where a lot of people get confused. They think that the ABC is out to trick them and to try to send in someone who's under 21, but they have a fake ID or something, and that is not the case. They are not trying to trick you. Unfortunately, a lot of people fail this test, and they feel like they have been tricked, or they feel like they've been entrapped in some way, or whatever. It's a terrible situation when it happens to someone, because it's just awful. They're embarrassed. It's serious. It's awful. But the point is that these tests are going to happen, and if you're knowledgeable and you know that they're going to happen and you know how they work, then you may be more aware of what's going on and be more cognizant to not make a sale to an underage buyer. So let me explain that these underage buyers look young, first of all. They look very young. Females oftentimes have braces. The girls they don't wear makeup. Guys don't have facial hair. They don't wear ball caps. They don't wear sunglasses. They honestly come into your location trying to look young, because that is better for them. And guys, trying to win these cases is very, very, very challenging. And that's one of the reasons why, because the underage buyer looks very young. So when you see this person come into your business and they come in to purchase an alcoholic beverage, your first instinct usually is, they look really young. And even people who sell to an underage person sometimes will say, you look really young. Or they'll comment to someone else, that person looks really young. And those are your clues that you need to start paying attention when someone young comes in. Now, because this underage buyer is not doing this in a sneaky fashion, they're doing it as part of an undercover operation, they're very confident. And they've been into maybe a dozen places before they get to your business. So they've been doing it all day or all evening, and they walk in very confident, and they order the beverage very confidently. So that kind of throws some people off, because they see someone that looks very, very young, but they're very confident, and they order this beer confidently. And everyone in this restaurant industry is trained to check ID, check ID, check ID, check ID. Most people just train check ID, and that's where it stops. And that's where it's a problem, because a lot of people do request the ID and look at it and still make the sale to the underage buyer. It's really shocking how many people will do that. So it's not just about checking the ID. If you own a business or you're a manager, don't just tell your staff, check ID, check ID, check ID. That's not really going to help sometimes. Yes, asking for the ID is a good start, and checking it's a good start, but you really do have to look at it, and you have to pay attention to it. Because what happens when this underage buyer comes in is they walk in looking young, but they walk in being confident. They order their beer. You ask for an ID because you're like, this person looks so young, and then they whip out an ID very, very confidently and hand you an ID. Well, when that happens, a lot of people get thrown off, and they just don't really look at the ID. Either they lack confidence checking an ID, and they're like, oh, well, this person gave me an ID, they must be 21. And this person didn't act like or lie or say, oh, well, my ID's outside, or I forgot my ID, or, you know, kind of like what a typical response would be to someone who's under 21 who's trying to trick you or get you to sell alcohol. It's not the same response. They give you the ID confidently, and when you look at it, you realize sometimes that, is this person under 21? Because you know in Virginia, when you're checking IDs, that if it is a person who is under the age of 21, the ID is vertical, so up and down. And if they're 21 and over, it's horizontal. All the information runs horizontally on the ID. So they hand you this ID that shows the vertical ID, and yes, it's possible that you can turn 21 and still have that vertical ID because it doesn't expire until a few years later. So maybe people think that, like, oh, well, maybe they just turned 21, and they don't look at the top that says under 21, and they don't look at the bottom of the ID where it says under 21 until this date. Most people try to quickly look at the date of birth and do some sort of math calculation. And I'll be the first to say, I am not good at doing any type of math calculation when someone is staring at me or looking at me or waiting on me to give them a quick answer. It's just not going to happen. But thankfully, the Virginia IDs, if you're busy and you're slammed and you're working, or it's the end of your shift and you're getting ready to go and you're trying to rush through this, you may not be so good with math on your feet. So, and you don't have to be with the Virginia ID. It's a beautiful thing that at the bottom of the ID, it tells you when the person turns 21. So if the bottom of the ID says this person turns 21 in 2024, you can easily say, I'm sorry, I can't sell to you, and give the ID back, and then they're going to turn around and walk out of your business, and you just passed. And you'll never know. They'll never tell you that you passed. You're just going to be like, what just happened? Why would someone give me an ID that says they were under 21? And you're going to know you were just tested. So when those little hairs on the back of your neck stand up because some kid comes in that looks like they're 19 or even 17 or 16, and they try to buy beer and they're confident and it just don't seem right, it's probably not right. So go with your gut instinct and ask them, how old are you? That's a normal conversation that you could ask somebody who's getting ready to buy alcohol, right? How old are you? And the underage buyer is going to tell you. And believe it or not, even if the underage buyer says they're under 21 at 18, 19, 20, there have even been cases where people have still sold. I don't get it, I don't understand it, and of course those people are going to be charged. But also the people's going to be charged who sell to someone who's under 21. If they don't if they don't ask how old are you, and they just make this out based on reviewing the ID. So it's something to really think about whenever you are asking for ID, that you do have to take that extra step to look at the ID. And if it is someone who is under 21, make sure you look at that little information at the bottom of the ID that says under 21 until, and that way you are confident in saying no. Or if you say how old are you and they tell you, you can say no, I'm sorry, you can't drink alcohol here. Have a good day. Do you want a Coke? Do you want a tea? Whatever, a non-alcoholic beverage. But it's going to be very, you're going to feel really good whenever that you are tested and then you pass that test. Because if you don't pass the test and you do sell to someone who's under 21, the agent's going to be somewhere in the building and they have been observing this. Maybe they're sitting at the bar having a beer or at a table making an observation. And an agent, a special agent with the ABC authority, is going to have observed this whole thing. And they're going to pull out their badge. They're going to identify themselves. They're going to ask for your ID, and they're going to issue you a summons for selling to a person under 21. And then you're going to have to go to General District Court and try to defend yourself about this situation and this charge. And then the licensee, the owner of the business, the licensee, the entity that holds the license, will be getting an administrative charge. And then that licensee will have to go to an ABC hearing, and depending on if it's the first time, second or third or fourth time that this has happened, the penalty is going to range anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000. And I mean, it could be more. They could get a revoked license. They could get a suspended license for a period of time. It's very serious in Virginia. ABC takes that very serious, and they make a lot of money on these penalties. So the tests keep happening. As far as I know, they're still going on. I don't know really what happened during COVID, but I know that there's a lot more going on, now. I don't know about what was happening during COVID, but just be prepared. Be knowledgeable. Teach your staff. Tell your staff to watch this video just so they know that it's going to happen, and when they are tested, they're going to feel really good and be proud of themselves. And I just want you to save. I want to be able to save you money. I want to be able to save you a criminal record, administrative charges. I want you to share this video if you think it's informative. Give it a like. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.